Section 95. Janamejaya said, O Brahmana, I have now heard from thee this great history of my ancestors. I had also heard from thee about the great monarchs that were born in this line, but have not been gratified this charming account, being so short. Therefore, be pleased, O Brahmana, to recite the delightful narrative just in detail, commencing from Manu, the Lord of creation. Who is there that will not be charmed with such an account, so as it is sacred? The fame of these monarchs increasing by their wisdom, virtue, accomplishments, and high character, hath so swelled as to cover the three worlds. Having listened to the history, sweet as nectar of their liberality, prowess, physical strength, mental vigor, energy, and perseverance, have not been satiated. Vaisampayanas said, Hear then, O monarch, as I recite in full the auspicious account of thy own race, just as I heard it from Dvaipayana before. Daksha begat Aditi, and Aditi begat Vivasvat, and Vivasvat begat Manu, and Manu begat Hila, and Hila begat Pururavas, and Pururavas begat Ayush, and Ayush begat Nahusha, and Nahusha begat Yayati, and Yayati had two wives, his Devayani, the daughter of Usanas, and Sarnishta, the daughter of Rishaparvan. Here occurs a sloka regarding Yayati's descendants. Devayani gave birth to Yadu and Turvasu, and Rishaparvan's daughter Sarnishta gave birth to Drahyu, Anu and Puru, and the descendants of Yadu are the Yadavas, and of Puru are the Pauravas. And Puru had a wife of the name of Kausalya, on whom he begat a son named Janamejaya, who performed 3 horse sacrifices, and a sacrifice called Vishwajit, and then he entered into the woods. And Janamejaya had married Ananta, the daughter of Madhava, and begat upon her a son called Prachinvat, and the prince was so called because he had conquered all the eastern countries, up to the very confines of the region where the sun rises. And Prachinvat married Ashmaki, a daughter of the Yadavas, and begat upon her a son named Sanhyati. And Sanhyati married Varangi, the daughter of Drishadvata, and begat upon her a son named Ahyannati. And Ahyannati married Bhanumati, the daughter of Kritavirya, and begat upon her a son named Sarvabhauma. And Sarvabhauma married Sunanda, the daughter of the Kekeya prince, having obtained her by force. And he begat upon her a son named Jayatsena, who married Susrava, and daughter of Vidarbha, king, and begot upon her Avachina. And Avachina also married another princess of Vidarbha, Maryada by name, and he begat on her a son named Harihan. And Harihan married Angi, and begat on her Mahabhauma. And Mahabhauma married Suhaja, the daughter of Prasenajit, and of her was born Ayuthanhayi, and he was so called because he had performed a sacrifice, at which the fat of an Ayutha, 10,000 of male beings, was required. And Ayuthanhi took for a wife Kama, the daughter of Prithusravas, and by her was born a son named Akrodana, who took to wife Karamba, the daughter of the king of Kalinga, and of her was born Devatiti. And Devatiti took for his wife Maryada, the prince of Videha, and of her was born a son named Harihan. And Harihan took to wife Sudeva, the princess of Anga, and upon her he begat a son named Riksha. And Riksha married Jwala, the daughter of Takshaka, and he begat upon her a son of the name of Matinara, who performed on the bank of Saraswati the 12-year sacrifice, said to be so efficacious. On the conclusion of sacrifice, Saraswati appeared in person before the king and chose him for husband. And he begat upon her a son named Tansu. Here occurs a sloka descriptive of Tansu's descendants. Tansu was born of Saraswati by Matinara, and Tansu himself begat a son named Ilina on his wife, the princess Kalinga. Ilina begat on his wife Ratantati, 5 sons, of whom Dushmanta was the eldest. And Dushmanta took to wife Shakuntala, the daughter of Vishwamitra, and he begat on her a son named Bharata. Here occurs 2 slokas about Dushmanta's descendants. The mother is but the sheath of flesh in which the father begets the son. Indeed, the father himself is the son. Therefore, O Dushmanta, support thy son and insult not Shakuntala. O God, among men, the Father himself becoming the Son, rescueth himself from hell. Shakuntala hath truly said that thou art the author of his child's being. It is for this, that is because the king supported his child after hearing the above speech of the celestial messenger, that the Shakuntala's son came to be called Bharata, the supported. And Bharata married Sunanda, the daughter of Sarvasena, the king of Kasi, and begat upon her the son named Bhumavu. And Bhumanyu married Vijaya, the daughter of Dasarha, and he begat upon her a son Suhotra, who married Suvarna, the daughter of Ikshaku. To her was born a son named Asti, who founded this city, which has therefore been called Astinapura. And Asti married Yashodhara, the princess of Trigarta, and of her was born a son named Ikuntana, who took for a wife Sudeva, the princess of Dasarha, and by her was born a son named Ajamida. And Ajamida had 4 wives named Raikeyi, Kandari, Visala, and Riksha, and he begot on them 2,400 sons. But amongst them all, Samvarna became the perpetuator of the dynasty, and the Samvarna took for his wife Tapati, the daughter of Vivaswat, and of her was born Kuru, who married Subhangi, the princess of Dasarha, and he begat on her a son named Vidurata, who took to wife Supriya, the daughter of the Madhavas, and he begat upon her a son named Anaswan, and Anaswan married Amrita, the daughter of the Madhavas, and of her was born a son named Parikshit, who took for his wife Suvasa, the daughter of the Vahudas, and begat upon her a son named Bhimasena, and Bhimsena married Kumari, the princess of Kekeya, and begat upon her Partisravas, whose son was Pratipa, and Pratipa married Sunanda, the daughter of Sivi, and begat upon her 3 sons, viz. Devapi, Santanu, and Valhika. And Devapi, while still a boy, entered the woods as a hermit, and Santanu became king. Here occurs a sloka in respect of Santanu. Those old men that were touched by this monarch not only felt an indescribable sensation of pleasure, but also became restored to youth. Therefore, this monarch was called Santanu. And Santanu married Ganga, who bore him a son, Devavrata, who was afterwards called Bhishma. And Bhishma, moved by the desire of doing good to his father, got him married to Satyavati, who was also called Gandhakali, and in her maidenhood she had a son by Parasara named Dvaipayana, and upon her Santanu begat 2 other sons named Chitrangada and Vichitravirya, and before they attained to majority, Chitrangada had been slain by the Gandharvas. But Vichitravirya became king and married the two daughters of the king of Kasi, named Ambika and Ambalika. But Vichitravirya died childless. Then Satyavati began to think as to how the dynasty of Dushmanta might be perpetuated. Then she recollected the Rishi Dvaipayana. The later coming before her asked, "What are thy commands?" She said, "Thy brother Vichitravirya hath gone to heaven childless. Beget virtuous children for him." Dvaipayana, consenting to this, begat 3 children, viz. Dhritarashtra, Pandu and Vidura. King Dhritarashtra had 100 sons by his wife Gandhari in consequence of the boon granted by Dvaipayana. And amongst those 100 sons of Dhritarashtra, 4 became celebrated. They are Duryodhana, Dushasana, Vikarna and Chitrasena. And Pandu had 2 jewels of wives, viz. Kunti, also called Prita and Madri. One day Pandu, while out hunting, saw a deer covering its mate. That was really a rishi in the form of a deer. Seeing the deer in that attitude, he killed it with his arrows before its desire was gratified. Pierced with the king's arrows, the deer quickly changed its form and became a rishi, and said unto Pandu, "O Pandu, thou art virtuous and acquainted also with the pleasure derived from the gratification of one's desire. My desire unsatisfied, thou hast slain me. Therefore thou also, when so engaged, and before thou art gratified, shall die." Pandu, hearing this curse, became pale, and from that time would not go in unto his wives. And he told them these words, "Through my own fault I have been cursed, but I have heard that for the childless there are no regions hereafter." Therefore he solicited Kunti to have offspring raised for him, and Kunti saying, "Let it be," so raised up offspring by Dharma. She had Yudhishthira, by Maruta, Bhima, and by Sakra, Arjuna. And Pandu, well pleased with her, said, "This thy co-wife is also childless. Therefore cause her also to bear children." Kunti, saying, "So be it," imparted on to Madri the mantra of invocation. And of Madri were raised by the twin Ashwins, the twins Nakula and Sahadeva. And one day Pandu, beholding Madri decked with ornaments, had his desire kindled, and as soon as he touched her, he died. Madri ascended the funeral pyre with her lord, and she said unto Kunti, "Let these twins of mine be brought up by thee with affection." After some time, those 5 Pandavas were taken by the ascetics of the woods to Hastinapura, and there introduced to Bhishma and Vidura. And after introducing them, the ascetics disappeared in the very sight of all. And after the conclusion of the speech of those ascetics, flowers were showered down upon the spot, and the celestial drums also were beaten in the skies. The Pandavas were then taken by Bhishma. They then represented the death of their father and performed his last honors duly. And as they were brought up there, Duryodhana became exceedingly jealous of them. And the sinful Duryodhana, acting like Rakshasa, tried various means to drive them away. But what must be can never be frustrated. So all Duryodhana's efforts proved futile. Then Dhritarashtra sent them by an act of deception to Varanavata, and they went there willingly. There an endeavor was made to burn them to death, but it proved abortive owing to the warning counsels of Vidura. After that, the Pandavas slew Hidimva, And then they went to a town called Ekachakra. There also they slew a Rakshasa of the name of Vaka, and then went to Panchala, and there obtaining Draupadi for a wife, they returned to Hastinapura, and there they dwelt for some time in peace, and begat children. And Yudhishthira begat Prithivindya, Bhima, Sutasoma, Arjuna, Shrutakirti, Nakula, Satanika, and Sahadeva, Shrutakarman. Besides these, Yudhishthira, having obtained for his wife Devika, the daughter of Govashana of the Shaiva tribe, in a self-choice ceremony, begat upon her a son named Yaudeya, and Bhima also obtaining for a wife Valandara, the daughter of the king of Kasi, offered his own prowess as to her, and begat upon her a son named Sarvaga. And Arjuna also, repairing to Dwaravati, brought away by force Subhadra, the sweet-speeched sister of Vasudeva, and returned in happiness to Hastinapura. And he begat upon her a son named Abhimanyu, endued with all accomplishments, and dear to Vasudeva himself. And Nakula, obtaining for his wife Karenumati, the princess of Chedi, begat upon her a son named Nirmitra. And Sahadeva also married Vijaya, the daughter of Dyutimat, the king of Madra, obtaining her in a self-choice ceremony, and begat upon her a son named Suhotra. And Bhimasena at some time before begat upon Hidimva a son named Gatotkacha. These are the 11 sons of the Pandavas. Amongst them all, Abhimanyu was the perpetuator of the family. He married Uttara, the daughter of Virata, who brought forth a dead child, whom Kunti took up on her lap at the command of Vasudeva, who said, I will revive this child of 6 months. And though born before time, having been burned by the fire of Ashwatthama's weapon, and therefore deprived of strength and energy, he was revived by Vasudeva, and endued with strength, energy, and prowess. And after reviving him, Vasudeva said, because this child had been born in an extinct race, therefore he shall be called Parikshit. And Parikshit married Madravati, thy mother, O king, and thou art born to her, O Janamejaya. Thou hast also begotten 2 sons, and thy wife of Vapustama, named Satanika, and Sankukarna. And Satanika also had begotten 1 son, named Ashwamedha Datta, upon the princess of Videha. Thus have I, O king, recited the history of the descendants of Puru and of the Pandavas. This excellent virtue increasing and sacred history should ever be listened to by vow-observing Brahmanas, by Kshatriyas devoted to the practices of their order and ready to protect their subjects, by Vaishyas with attention, and by Shudras with reverence, whose chief occupation is to wait upon the 3 other orders, Brahmanas conversant in the Vedas, and other persons who with attention and reverence recite this sacred history, or listen to it when recited, conquer the heavens and attain to the abode of the blessed. They are also always respected and adored by the gods, Brahmanas, and other men. This holy history of Bharata hath been composed by the sacred and illustrious Vyasa, Veda-knowing Brahmanas, and other persons who with reverence and without malice hear it recited, earn great religious merits and conquer the heavens. Though sinning, they are not disregarded by anyone. Here occurs Sloka. This Bharata is equal unto the Vedas. It is holy and excellent. It bestoweth wealth, fame, and life. Therefore, it should be listened to by men with rapt attention. Thus ends the 95th section in the Sambhava Parva of the Adi Parva.